So the last thing I want to talk about here is the Paladin nerf, which I've been getting a lot of feedback. A lot of people wanted to get my opinions, my take on this, because if you don't know, in KMSM, Paladins sanctity. So if you don't know what the Paladin sacro is, I mean, it's the most OP skill in the game. It's 30-second iframe on a 90-second cooldown. So 1/3 of the fight you can use it, but what makes it overpowered is that you can use it with Echo. Okay, so Echo, you can bond with anyone that's your top aggro. You can choose whoever you want to bond it to, and you will get all of these buffs. Okay, so you're going to get final damage buff, and you are going to get to use sacrosanctity and create for the party member. So this is where it gets very, very insane and broken, right? So 30 seconds, that person can get 30 seconds immunity every 2 minutes, because Divine Echo is a 2-minute cooldown, but on top of like their iframe. So like if a Phantom has Sacro, they can use theirs on top of this one. Dark Sight, they can use all of their different iframes and get an additional iframe. So some classes are extremely overpowered, and where it's getting abused again is, hate using that term, but that's just what it is that when there's multiple Paladins, right? There's multiple Paladins, 2, possibly 3, and it just, people are just taking advantage of it. Because, I mean, it is a cheese strategy, but it's not on the player base to like pull back punches, essentially, because of the way the nature of the game is, right? They're taking advantage of what is available. It's like when people abused Sia, Hourglass, and they just constantly spammed it, and people just never died because of Hourglass. They fixed it, right? When people had Bishop res, mass res on a Bishop, on a Phantoms, on multiple Phantoms, and then you could time leap it again, I think, and you get it all back. So it's not the player's fault. They're taking advantage of it. They're doing with what is presented to them. But then that got nerfed as well. And so only kind of next step is Sacro, which has been a long time. I've talked about it. It's been the most overpowered game class. It's been the most overpowered skill in the game. It is just so much better than anything else that anyone else has. And the fact that you can share it with somebody else, I mean, it's surprising that it took this long for people to abuse it as much as they are to clear NNM game content. So what the change is that in KMSM, they went from 30 seconds, I think, down to 10 or 15, but I'm pretty sure it's 10. So it became extremely, extremely nerfed. And people are worried and want to know my take on this. And my take is that I'm fine with it. I think people like are turned off by the fact that like it's gonna get nerfed, and this is what makes Paladins like great again, and like it's gonna be unplayable. But I mean, this skill is definitely overtuned. It is just overpowered. No class in this game has a 30-second iframe besides Dark Knight, but it's like on a 5-minute or 10-minute cooldown. Just 30 seconds on a 90-second cooldown. Thieves, Dark Sight got nerfed in as terms of duration and cooldown. So their duration went down and their cooldown went up. Other people's iframes durations went up, or cooldowns went up, and Sacro has never been touched since I started playing this game. It's never been touched probably in the history of Paladin. In PC, I think it's a 30-second cooldown and like a 3-minute 30-second duration, 3-minute cooldown, or even higher. So it's much different. And so for the fact that this is getting nerfed down to 10 seconds and people are blowing up, it just isn't a big deal to me. And I think like they've nerfed support skills already for Sias, for Phantoms. Phantoms got 15 seconds, went from 30 to 15 seconds when they steal Sacro. They nerfed other people's iframes. They nerfed Bishop's mass res to not be time leaped anymore, which is actually a huge deal. And so I think it's been overdue that Sacro should be nerfed. And do I think it's coming in August? I don't, actually. I think the changes in KMSM usually don't get implemented to our game immediately. So I think that in August it's safe, but I mean, every class gets rebalanced and reworked, and it's only, in my opinion, like I would prefer. I've been talking about this for a long time, that this skill is broken and that it should be nerfed. Like whether they lower the duration to like 10 seconds, even if they kept it at 90 seconds, I'd be totally fine. But if they kept it down like even if they turned it into like a 5-second duration and a 60-second cooldown, it still would be very, very good. I think just the fact that no other class, like some classes don't even have iframes, and Paladins have a 30-second one. It is way too long. It is way like, I would rather them do what they did with Phantoms. They nerf iframes and survivability and give them more DPS and more damage and more lines, because I think that it just makes it more fun, in my opinion. I think this skill is just overtuned. So, and the fact that you can bond it, I think another thing that even if they were to keep it, like another easy, if they don't want to fully gut this, I think they can do the same thing they did with Phantom's stolen skill. So if you don't know, if I keep mentioning it, but Phantoms used to be able to steal this skill, and they used to get the full duration, 30 seconds on 90-second cooldown. So they just got when their stolen skills got nerfed, this going down to 15 seconds, which is still very good, right? It's still a very long iframe. So it went down 15 seconds on a 90-second cooldown. And so if they wanted to not go full on gut it and nerf it, they could change this bonded effect to be a percentage, like 50% again, right? You don't get the full buff for sacro. Like they could just say sacrosanctity is a 15-second cooldown instead of the full 30. Or if they change sacro to, I don't know, 10 seconds, whatever it is, then the bonded person only gets 5, whatever. But I think there's different options that they can do if they don't want to go the KMSM route and kind of make it its own game. But I think that the amount of like abuse at the highest level and even in the mid-game levels for this bonded effect, this is the issue. This is the issue that is now coming up, that it gives an additional, like 2 paladins can give your aggro literally 60 seconds of immunity essentially every 2 minutes. It says 90 seconds, but essentially every 2 minutes. So you're on top of your own iframe. So like a dual blade or Phantom can literally be immune for 3/4 or almost the entirety of a fight if they just had 2 paladins, and imagine just 3. So it is just a broken skill. It just is, right? And I talked about how they're the best bossing mule in the game. This is one of the main reasons. So my take is that I'm okay with it being nerfed. I really am. I've talked about it, that I think that it is way too strong. Either if they're not going to give more classes iframes to kind of level out the playing field and give, and to give people more survivability, then they have to nerf down like this skill. Like 30 seconds is absolutely way too long. On top of the fact that we have impenetrable skin, which gives us a 3-second iframe here, on top of single res guardian, which gives us a 5-second immunity here, just on top of the fact that we have literally a no cooldown 50% heal. There's just so many options, and I think Paladins it's okay to nerf it. You'll be fine, right? You still have an insane amount of iframes. You still will be very, very tanky, and on top of that, you have one of the best bursts in the game. And if they give us less support, just give us more damage. I'll take it. Give us Heaven's Hammer to be back, stronger, a bossing attack that you actually can use. Instead of 8 hit counts, double this, make it kind of match with Blast, is kind of my wish. Please give us that. But for all those Paladin players or people that think about rerolling to Paladin will still be very good. I think Paladin will be insane, and it is a support class. Okay? It is here to do a lot of damage, but it also has value in the support, which will still make it valuable in runs and wanted in runs, and a very, very great bossing mule, and honestly a great main as well. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, and if you're thinking about playing Paladin or a Paladin main, I'd love to hear you guys talk about if you agree with me or not.